what we do with quite a lot of our work is we actually use what we call matched samples, so to allocate people between the control group and the test group. Now, what do I mean by that? Again, it depends on the intervention. There is no single answer here. So if it's something to do with debt, and the intervention is aimed at reducing debt, you would want to make the profile of the people in the test group similar to those in the control group in terms of the levels of debt that they have. So you might take debtors per se and break it up into chunks. So actually one creditor, 2 or 3 creditors, but more creditors, and you make sure that both samples look the same. Or it might be the level of debt. So up to £500, 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 5,000, 5,000 plus. And you try and make sure that those two groups of people look similar on the things that are important to you in relation to the intervention you're trying to put out there. It might be that you match samples on age or on gender. Whatever is reasonable and sound and feels practical to actually do. But it means that you can use smaller sample sizes through in both of the test and the control group. Okay? And again, the time in between before and after differs depending on what the actual intervention is that you're trying to measure. The most robust level is what we call a randomised control trial. And here, rather than using a matching process to allocate people to the test and control group, what we're doing is taking the sample and allocating them on a random basis. If you have access to lots of people, this is the best way to do it, it's the most robust. Because by accessing on a random basis, what will happen is automatically those two samples will look the same. Okay, so that's the highest level of robustness that we can achieve. But like I say, it depends on the intervention. That's my starting point. Can I put that in place? No? Okay. Can I put level 3 in place? No? Okay. Can I put level 2 in place? No? All right, I'll just demonstrate the customer journey. So there's no single answer. I always start at the top with the Rolls Royce and then work my way back down and say what we can do. Okay. Sometimes it's not only a question of whether it is feasible to do it, it's a question of time and it's a question of money. So there's lots of different things that contribute. What do you measure? Again, this needs to reflect the intervention that you're talking about, but as a start, I always look at this top funnel and think about, if we're giving people information or advice, then it's, do I make them start thinking about their situation? Do I start making them review their situation? That's always my starting point. Often we look at the soft things like, have they discussed it with a partner or a family? Are they then moving on to researching or looking into what they could do and what they should do? Are they planning on doing something as a result of the intervention? And actually then do they end up doing something? So that tends to be the general journey that people go through once actually you put something on their radar. Well, actually, I'm going to think about that. Drawing up a budget, yeah, I'm going to think about that. I'm going to think about how actually my income and my expenditure could be more visible to me, so I'm going to think about it. I've discussed it with my wife, and we're going to sit down and do it. I'm looking for different budgeting tools to understand which one I'm going to use, which one actually helps me, I can work with. And actually I'm going to start doing it on a weekly basis. That's how I'm going to do it, and then I actually get around to doing it. So that's the general journey people go on, no matter what it is they're doing, whether it's budgeting, looking at savings products, looking at insurance, looking at mortgages, looking at reducing their debt. The journey tends to be the same. But it also has to tie back to what the success looks like for that particular intervention. Okay, so again, there's no one set of actions that I can give you to say, measure these. You've got to always tie it back to what the intervention is intended to do. One of the other things that we always look to measure are what the barriers are. What is stopping people from actually doing the activities that the intervention is designed to enable? And we link these to behavioural economics. And this is where we try and find solutions using behavioural economics to actually increase the efficiency and the effectiveness of the intervention. But so we always look at actually, if people haven't done the things that we expected them or wanted them to do, why haven't they? What has stopped them from doing it? What are the barriers that they perceive are in place that have stopped them from doing it? It could be something that's mental, it could be something that's physical, it could be a combination of both. So we try and understand those, and those will come to light in your case studies, and also if you add in some questions in your quantitative studies, they will come to light in there. Just touching quickly on behavioural economics. For those of you who have worked in a commercial environment, the first two are absolutely known. They're general marketing. The person going through an intervention must trust the deliverer. With our Parents' Guide to Money Handbook, that is handed out by midwives. The midwives is a trusted messenger. People understand and they trust the midwife. Therefore, if the midwife is giving her something, she trusts that, whatever it is that she's giving her. So trust in the deliverer is absolutely paramount to have. Incentivise the participant. Now here I don't mean them give them money, although that does work obviously, but it's about telling them how they are going to benefit as a result of going through the intervention. And that links back to the actual benefits that we were talking about first in the first slide. So it might be actually saying, do you know what, if you're worrying about opening your bills, go through this session, and we'll hopefully take that worry away for you. Or if you're worrying about the level of debt that you've got, go through this and we'll start helping you with that and reduce that debt. Inertia and procrastination. Inertia is about, oh, I can't be bothered. No, I'll just stay as I am. It might be really difficult, I might not be able to do it. I'll just stay as I am. Overcoming that is quite difficult, and we can talk, and next slide talks a little bit how we can do that. And procrastination, okay, yes, I have decided to do something, but I don't know what. Do I do that? Do I do this? Do I do the other? What do I do? Not sure. Making the intervention relevant by promoting the benefits is how you get over some of that. Plus also communicating the expected or desired behaviours. And promote that as the norm. And I don't mean that to say everybody does this. It's not necessarily about that. It's about saying to somebody like you in your situation has done this and they've actually benefited because they've actually done, this is where they've ended up. So it's actually trying to empathise with somebody and actually get them to spread and think actually people like you, and that's where people want to be. Use the right tone of voice. Communication is really important. For some people who are worried, they need a very reassuring tone of voice. Do you know what, you're going to be okay, we can do this, we'll help you through it, we'll support you through it. For others who, oh, for goodness sake, I'm fine, it's not going to help, you actually need to make them worried before they can actually act. So it's about understanding the people who are going to go through that intervention to understand actually how you communicate best with them. What kind of communications do they react to best? Some need reassuring tone of voice, others need actually a wake-up call, but you can't frighten them, and that's a really, really difficult tightrope to walk. Making it clear to everybody that everybody can do this is key as well. Some people like to know the entire journey that they're going to go on and the steps they're going to go through. Others just like, well, just tell me what I've got to do next. When I've done that, I'll come back. It's understanding the rate at which people need to be given the information and helped through the process will actually make a difference between somebody doing something and somebody not doing something. I'm quite sure each and every one of us can actually identify with that. Sometimes there are some things that we're doing, we have to understand the entire journey, how we're going to get there, what we need to do, and other times, well, actually, I'll just do this bit and then think about the next step. But always remember, please, I've got some experience in doing this. If you need some help, please just get in touch. I'm here to help. Okay? And that's it. Thank you.